Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at a bunch of psychic cards. We are carrying on, I suppose we would say, type by type. Going through, rounding up the cards from Legendary Heartbeat, Legendary Beat, Legends Heartbeat, call it what you will. And we're still doing that thing I've mentioned in previous videos where, as a bit of a test, we've gone through all of the bigger cards in the set, and now we are lumping a bunch of them together, seeing if this is the kind of way you guys want these videos presented. So do make sure you drop a comment down below, tell me if you'd like this, or whether you'd like a slightly deeper dive on each individual card. For today, let's start off with Xerneas, and it is, of course, a Psychic Pokémon, though it is weak to Metal, given that it is a Fairy Pokémon. And to be fair, this is moderately historic, because it's the first time we've ever had a non-Fairy Xerneas card. I mean, Xerneas literally brought Fairy into the Pokémon TCG in X and Y, and has always been Fairy since, but Fairies don't exist. So it's Psychic with a weakness to Metal. Retreat cost of 2 does at least give free retreat with Air Balloon, which could be worse, and 130 HP is about the most we can expect from a basic Pokemon. Of course, it's a Psychic Pokemon right as they're losing all of their tricks, like Spell Tag, Mysterious Treasure, etc. But hey-ho. I suppose at least you're still hitting weakness against Mewtwo and Mew, so that's not a terrible thing. So starting off then, what do we see? I should mention our translations are a mixture of the lovely Antoine Boulet and the lovely Joe from Cerebi.net. And for some of these cards, both of them. Sweet. And what we see with Xerneas, for the first attack, 1 Psychic Energy. Choose any card from your discard pile, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. It's kinda like Junk Hunt. Except it's not Junk Hunt. You see, the thing that was so gosh darn good about Junk Hunt was it was 2. Junk Hunt went and got any 2 cards, or any 2 item cards, and put them into your hand. This is any 1 card, and you better believe that makes a big difference. Sableye was able to get multiple disruption cards and really start annoying your opponent and all of that, and it really was its own kind of thing. This is not. It's a nice handy bonus, don't get me wrong. Get yourself a supporter for next turn, play a Crushing Hammer and immediately get it back, etc. I'm not upset about it, but I do believe that it's not enough. I like that it can retreat for free with Air Balloon, that's a bonus. I like the high HP, but I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think getting 1 card back is going to be enough. I mean, Excadrill is my favourite deck at the moment, and that's got a Drillbur which recovers a card. Now, admittedly, it is into your deck rather than into your hand, but I still would rather just be attacking with Excadrill most of the time. There is a second attack here though, free energy, 100 damage, and heal 30 from this Pokemon. And again, there's things to like about this. I mean, you're healing 30, you've got 130 HP. I showed you that Clefable the other day, that if your active Pokemon has a Psychic Energy attached to it, you get to heal 20 damage on 1 special condition. So we can build up a really quite nice Psychic healing deck with this, which is pretty cool. There's that mysterious Candy item card, which is coming around in the next set, that discards a Psychic Energy from one of your Pokemon and heals 80 from them. So we can do some good healing with Psychic decks. I just don't think it's going to be enough with 130 HP, because you are just going to be KO'd way too easily. And free energy 100 damage, not enough. Let's be clear about that. Free energy 100 damage is insufficient damage. Sorry. Let's go ahead and give this between 2 and 3 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. 2 nice attacks, but nothing I think which is going to set the world on fire. No, let's give it 3 Wassies. I'm upgrading it to 3 Wassies. That first attack can at least set you off nicely in the game. Moving on to Girafarig then. We got 90 HP, which is exceedingly low. We do gain a resistance to fighting, which is nice, but we are weak to darkness, and darkness is about to be a bad weakness to have. Eternatus is going to be great, and Eternatus demands that the player only plays darkness Pokemon, so yeah, that's going to be awkward. And you got a retreat cost of 1, so I suppose U-turn board will help you out rather nicely. Now, there are a couple of attacks here. The first one Psychic Energy, place 2 damage counters onto your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. I'm not going to spend much time talking about this because this is an attack which is truly bad. I mean, to put it into context, the Mew from Unbroken Bond's a really nice one that protects your bench. For a colourless energy, rather than a psychic, drops 3 damage counters in any way you like. So this is a bad attack. But the second attack, 1 psychic, 1 colourless energy, 30 damage. You may have your opponent shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 4 cards. And this could be a nice disruption thing. Because, I mean, we've seen this before, right? This is Marshadow. Except it's only for your opponent. Or it's Judge, but it's only for your opponent. Or it's a reset stamp to 4. You see where we're going. It's a Marnie, but only if you see where we're going here. And it's 4 cards, and it can hurt them. I really like the idea of playing this with Lavender Town. Lavender Town is that stadium card that sees no play at all, but is going to be in the next rotation. It's going to survive the rotation. And it basically says that you can look at your opponent's hand once during your turn, though they can do the same to you. So you look at their hand. If it's good, fine. If not, make them reshuffle. Honestly, I actually really like this. No, sorry, let me rephrase. I would really like this if you did a decent amount of damage. I love that you can make your opponent shuffle. I love that you don't have to. I do not love 30 damage for 2 energy. Because you're just not doing enough. I mean, with resistance being minus 30 nowadays, if they're resisting you, you're doing nothing. But even if they're not, I mean, for goodness sake, it's not an 11-hit KO. If you hit Eternatus 11 times, you'll do 330, and they'll still have 10 HP remaining. It's not good enough. I do love the disruption aspect, but you've got to disrupt while attacking. And the problem is you're not doing enough damage. Disrupting from the bench, good. Disrupting while doing a decent amount of damage, good. Disrupting while doing so little damage, it's just never going to work. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, big sigh. I'm still giving it 3 Wassies. I still like it. I still think it's a really fun attack. I just think the amount of damage here is just too low. So how about we finish off having a look at Diancie? 90 HP is low, retreat cost of 1 is alright because of U-turn board, and we're back to a weakness to metal, given that it is, of course, a psychic Pokemon. And again, it's not terribly important, but it does just so happen to be the first psychic Diancie we've ever seen. Because again, Diancie has always been a fairy Pokemon before, except for the really good Prism Star, which is the only fighting Diancie we've seen. Nice little bit of trivia for you. Now, the ability here is quite nice. As long as Diancie is your active Pokemon, any damage done to your Pokemon by your opponent's attacks is reduced by 30. And it's not just to Diancie. All of your Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks. Now, my immediate thought, because Diancie itself, right, it's got 90 HP, it's not terribly important. So, no, you're still KO'd pretty easily. But I like it in kind of hit and run decks. So, something like a Hitmonchan, for instance, that does damage and then flicks to the bench. You put this active so your opponent can't hit your bench very well. And, I mean, take something like a Salamence, for instance. Salamence does 30 damage to each of your Pokemon. So, if you've got a Diancie in the active, it completely shuts Salamence down. And incidentally, this is, I believe, the best use for it. This will completely shut Salamence V down. Salamence V, now to be fair, Salamence will then just add a 4th energy, do 160 and KO Diancie. But while Diancie is in the active, Salamence's attack is 3 energy. It's not a dramatic pause, it does nothing for free energy. So I do quite like this ability for that. The problem is, it's got 90 HP and is going to be fairly easily KO'd. Now, if this was an ability that worked on the bench, oh lordy, I'd be loving it. It would also have to be limited to 1 during your turn. You wouldn't be able to have it stacking, it'd be too good. But as it is, it's a really nice ability that protects your bench and is great against stuff like Salamence. But then, by the same token, it needs a good attack to make it work. Does it have it? Meh. 1 Psychic, 2 Colourless Energy, 50 damage. If you played a supporter card this turn, you do 70 more damage. Now, most turns, unless something's going very wrong, most turns you should have played a supporter card. So you're essentially doing 120 damage for a Psychic double Colourless. And you can use Twin Energy, which is quite nice. But it's still not the cheapest attack, especially given that Malamar's rotating out, so it's not that easy to accelerate to Psychic anymore. And you're doing 120, which isn't enough to KO a Mewtwo and Mew. It will get a bunch of single prize Pokemon, but it won't get all of them. The Xerneas we just looked at, 130. I suppose you can start mucking about with Vitality Band and you will get the KO. You'll get most things that are weak, other than VMAXs and tag teams, which is, I suppose, good. You'll get a bunch of single prize Pokemon, but not all of them. It's fine. I mean, you'll 2-hit KO a Salamence, for instance. But the fact of the matter is, it's an underwhelming attack. It's a bit too expensive, and it doesn't do quite as much as we would like. Now, if it did 140, such that you would get a 1-hit KO on Mewtwo and Mew and the vast majority of basic Pokemon, or single prize Pokemon, then I could get behind it. Then I'd be actually really intrigued by it. As it is, it's a bit too expensive. You're not probably going to be paying it in 1 turn. And it's a bit too weak. And we're just ending up in slightly awkward territory here. Again, it's not a bad card. And certainly there are going to be times where you're against something like a Salamence, which has proven to be a pretty good card over in Japan already. And this is going to help you out and buy you time and all of that good stuff. But I'm not sure it's going to be good enough. This one I'm giving between 3 and 4 Wassies. When I give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Because it does seem like the kind of card that you can really start making some use of. And it can shut down spreading decks if they get big. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.